Hi, this is Vicki from patternprincess.com. Today I'm going to show you how to do these really cute face scrubbies. I did these three here. One is in red. This other one here is in pastel pink. And I've just used the peaches and creams on all three of them because they are a nice cotton yarn. So I like using those. This one here, now you're probably wondering, what am I gonna make out of this little scrap of yarn? I think that this is enough to make a face scrubby. Pretty sure. But here's an idea for you. So if you're gonna make some Christmas gifts, if you take this pattern this is just the granny square washcloth pattern. You will also see this on my website for free at patternprincess.com. Otherwise, I also do have another video that shows how to make the whole thing. So if you just take this, let's say, and fold it. Here's just an idea. I'm going to do some of these and then I'll post it on the website too so you can see some pretty ideas. So what happens if you just take this red face scrubby and put it on top of that nice little washcloth, and then maybe put a button or something else that's really pretty on top of this, and then just run the yarn. Take your yarn needle and take an extra scrap of yarn and run it through here and bring it up and tie a little bow on top. I think that would make a really cute presentation. So just some ideas, because if you looked at the video at all, you'll see that it does not even take a whole skein of this little skein of yarn that comes in this size package. It's 2.5 ounces of yarn, so these are a very frugal pattern to make. Well, then I have a whole bunch of these scraps left, and I'm thinking, well, what am I going to do with those? So I have done some face scrubbies, and they are really cute. So rather than just your standard circle, I've done a little puffiness to them, so there's a little bit of substance to them. So let me show you how to do it. I'm using a G size hook, and of course I didn't tell you the color of the yarn. I'm using forest green yarn. Okay, so right here is forest green yarn. We're going to start with the magic circle. So over my 3 fingers I go, insert my hook, and yarn over and bring that through, and I keep holding it. And I make my one little loop stitch, and then I tighten this up a little bit, and then rearrange, tighten that up a little bit. I'm ready to go. Now I chain 1, which does not count as anything. I'm going to, inside of this circle here where my finger is kind of stuck through, I'm going to do 12 half double crochets. So here we go with 1, making sure that you catch all the plies of the yarn. This is a 4-ply cotton yarn, and sometimes it doesn't stick together very well and you slip one out. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We are done with our very first row here. So now I'm going to pull this tight, and I'm going to get myself some more yarn here. Pretty scant amount left. We already have our first row done, except for doing the slip stitch. Hold on, let me get myself set here again. I got to get that tail out of the way. And it's okay if it loosens up a little bit after, because we'll snug it up once we weave in our ends anyway. So anyways, through the top 2 loops of the first half double crochet, and sometimes it can be a little bare to get in there. There we go, I got in. So put it in there, yarn over, pull it through, and then pull it through your loop. That is a slip stitch. You are now done with row 1. So now we're going to chain 1, which counts as nothing, yarn over, and in this spot right here where we were just putting our hook before to end off and do our slip stitch, we are going to insert our hook, yarn over, bring it through, but don't complete the stitch yet, yarn over, and then insert your hook right back into that same hole, bring it back through. Now we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on our hook. So now I'm going to pull through all of them, making sure I get all the plies of yarn. Here we go. And then complete 1 chain. Okay, yarn over, go to the next, and I'm going to yarn over, and go in again, pull through all of your loops, and then chain 1. We are going to do this for every single one that's around the circle, and it takes a few seconds here because you're kind of wanting to make the loops not come off the hook. Here we go. One yarn over, get it all, yarn over. Here we go. Chain 1, yarn over, stick it in. Chain 1. I'm going to continue to do this until I get right on the other side, so you can go ahead and pause the video, catch up when you get right over here where my thumb is moving here. We're going to catch up again and complete this row. Okay, we're just about done with our second row. I have done my, I don't know what you call it, a little puff stitch here, and then my chain 1. So now I'm going to insert the hook into the top 2 loops of that first half double crochet here. Bring it through and bring it through here. So we have, it's almost done. We've got one more row to go. So I'm going to chain 1, yarn over, and then in the top loop of this first puffy stitch, I'm going to do a half double crochet. Chain 1. Then in the spot where we did our chain 1 before, I'm going to do that little puffy stitch. So it's yarn over and yarn over again, insert my hook, get them all on your hook, bring it all through, chain 1, then yarn over, because we're going to do our half double crochet in the top stitch of that puffy, next puffy stitch, chain 1, yarn over. In that center right here, we're going to do that where we get the 5 loops on the stitch right here, on the hook I should say, and then chain 1, yarn over, do the half double crochet, chain 1, my yarn is catching and bunching up, yarn over, in here we're going to do that puff stitch. I think that's maybe what you call it, as a puff stitch. You'd think I'd know the name of the things I'm telling you. Oh, and I just made it up this morning. I gotta tell you, there may be a name for it. Yarn over, do my half double crochet here on top of that last stitch, chain 1. So in between each time we're going to do a stitch, we're chaining 1. Okay, we're about halfway done. Chain 1, go on the top of here. All right, so you continue working around your circle. Oops, I almost pulled through. And then when you're ready to go, turn the camera back on and we'll meet right over here, okay? Did my little puff stitch, my chain 1. So in the top of this one, I'm going to do my half double crochet, chain 1. So we started with that half double crochet. So actually in this, because if I joined it now, you'd have a big gap. But actually here, I should be doing one last little puff stitch. Doesn't seem like it, but I really need to, or you're going to notice the big gap. And chain 1, and then we're going to join into the top 2 loops of that first half double crochet, and you just made your little face scrubby. And you can see how close I've come in getting the yarn done. But now what I will do is I'll pull this tight, and I think I showed you how to weave in ends. If you haven't seen how to weave in some ends, here's a great little tutorial for you. So I'm going to thread my yarn needle. So when I have this circle like this, I've already crocheted over it. So now I'm just going to make sure I go a few different little ways in here so that it's not all just going one way in case it does pull out, less apt to pull. Kind of went around the knot. Now I'm going to go back through this bottom little chain area here where I first crocheted over it. And then that's really should be good enough. That one there should be done. So here we go. I'm going to get rid of this. And yep, I have the needle in my mouth and I'm talking. I know it's not very smart here. Here we go. And then I'm going to snip this off so that we can sew it in. And I really did not end up with much left. But you know what? This will make a nice little tie part. So if we do a button or something and tie it on, I'm going to just pull this loop right through. See that? So then that's all done. And I'm going to push this to the back. Get my yarn needle threaded here. And then I like to kind of go through these first 2 loops. See, that kind of makes it kind of flat. You really can't see where we ended. And then I just start to go through some of the seams and back, weaving this back and forth. And actually, because these face scrubbies are so small, what I found that I like to do is get down to this bottom center here, because I think it's a little bit less apt to pull apart if I get down that far. So I'm kind of weaving my way down, and then I'll go back and forth a couple times. So I went this way. Now we'll flip it around. We're going to go this way, and then we start to work our way down again. Let's see here. Here's a good one. And then I'm going to go back through here, and then I'll snip it off. See how I'm going through a number of those layers at once? And having this yarn needle is just invaluable for that. I used to try and do it with a crochet hook, but it really does not do the trick. You really got to get yourself a yarn needle if you're not using one. And there is your little face scrubby. This is a really quick make. It's really, I think it's a really nice size. So I have some in pink here because I think I'm going to match those with like a purple, and I might fold the washcloth like I thought before. But just think, if you even gave a couple of these, I just think it would be really pretty with this washcloth. I don't know, maybe there's some crafter that's a little bit better at putting things together than I am, that could have an eye that could really make this pretty. And but I thought maybe putting a button on the middle or something, and then tying this around it or going through it. So maybe you have a better idea of how to put it together. But either way, I really hope that you've enjoyed making our project today. It's really a quick make. It's a great way to use scraps. Again, the printed pattern is on patternprincess.com. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good time crocheting. Take care.